Welcome to Finbot Insights. The current artificial intelligence boom is generating wealth at a truly breathtaking speed. But what if this entire financial structure is a closed loop, an elaborate machine where the same dollars are simply cycling between a handful of dominant players? Today, we will dissect the financial architecture of the AI industry to determine if it is built on a solid foundation or if it is merely a trillion-dollar house of cards.
Our analysis begins with a single, staggering figure, $4.5 trillion. That is the market capitalization of Nvidia, the company producing the semiconductor chips that power this entire revolution. This number is not just a valuation, it is the financial anchor for the whole economic phenomenon we are witnessing. This valuation is fueling a frenzy of massive interlocking investments. And that, in turn, raises a critical question. Is the AI market's explosive growth genuine, or is it being artificially propped up by a complex web of circular business deals? We are observing a technological buildout of unprecedented scale and scope. As the hype surrounding AI ripples through every sector of the economy, from capital markets to real estate, one must question the stability of the very foundation upon which this trillion-dollar tower is built. At the very center of this intricate financial web stand two firms that have effectively become the architects of this AI gold rush: the chipmaker, Nvidia, and the AI developer, OpenAI. Through a series of enormous and often overlapping partnerships, these two companies are binding the fates of countless other corporations to their own. This has created a deeply interdependent ecosystem, one where a stumble by a single player could trigger a cascade of failures. To truly understand how this market is structured, one must follow the money. The path of capital flows reveals the precise mechanics of this machine. Here we see the core of the circular flow. Nvidia invests a substantial sum into OpenAI. That capital is then effectively earmarked to return directly to Nvidia when OpenAI uses it to purchase its chips for new data centers. However, this primary relationship is only the beginning. The structure becomes far more complex as other technology giants are brought into the arrangement, adding new layers and pathways for the capital to travel. So after OpenAI receives its investment, it signs a massive deal with Oracle for cloud services. Oracle then turns around and spends billions of dollars on Nvidia chips, the very hardware required to build out the infrastructure that OpenAI just agreed to pay for. As this cycle clearly illustrates, capital moves from one firm to the next in a closed loop. The net effect is that each company's revenues and valuations are inflated along the way. This creates the appearance of tremendous organic growth, when in reality, it is largely the same pool of money circulating between partners. The cloud provider CoreWeave offers another perfect case study. As you can see, Nvidia is both an investor in CoreWeave and a major customer. At the same time, OpenAI holds equity in CoreWeave while also being a client with deals valued at over $20 billion. This arrangement effectively uses a third company to bind Nvidia and OpenAI even closer together. This pattern of interconnected corporate spending is drawing sharp comparisons to a previous era of technological exuberance, an era that did not end well. Analysts are pointing to uncomfortable parallels with the dot-com bubble of the late 1990s. During that period, tech startups used venture capital to buy advertising from one another, creating a potent illusion of revenue and market demand that was not actually real. Now, while the underlying assets are different, tangible hardware versus intangible advertising, the core mechanic of circular investment raises identical questions about the sustainability of this growth. The foundation may have shifted from clicks to computing power, but the financial architecture bears a striking and perhaps troubling resemblance. Industry leaders, however, do not frame these arrangements as a risk. They argue that these deals are, in fact, a necessary and beneficial strategy designed to fuel rapid innovation. The official position from executives is that these unorthodox relationships are essential. They contend that these deals are the only viable method to meet an unprecedented and explosive global demand for artificial intelligence. Nvidia's CEO publicly denies that his company requires the firms that invests in to purchase its technology. This is a defense clearly designed to counter accusations that this is nothing more than a sophisticated circular financing scheme. Regardless of intent, the result is a deeply symbiotic ecosystem. It has now grown so large that the fate of the entire global economy could hang in the balance. The sheer ambition here is monumental. We're discussing plans for capital expenditures that completely dwarf any previous technological cycle in history, including the build-out of the internet itself. This statement from one analyst perfectly captures the binary outcome that many now see as possible. Will artificial intelligence lead us to an era of transformative progress, or will it trigger a catastrophic economic collapse? Ultimately, the central question remains unresolved. Is this a new economic paradigm built on genuine, sustainable demand, or is it a speculative bubble of historic proportions destined to collapse under its own weight? This profound uncertainty is the reality that investors and global markets must now confront. We must remind you that this analysis is for informational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. You should never make investment decisions based on information from this or any other social media channel. Always conduct your own thorough research. If you found this breakdown valuable, please support our work by clicking the like button and subscribing to FinVot Insights for more in-depth analysis.